Most men treat a hug as something insignificant, just a quick hello, a routine goodbye, or a brief interaction that doesn't carry much weight. They step in, embrace for a second, then pull away without giving it any real thought. But what many men fail to recognize is that a hug can be one of the most revealing moments in any interaction with a woman. In that short instant of physical contact, her body is communicating how she truly feels, her level of comfort, her interest, her connection with you, and sometimes even her attraction. The issue isn't that these signals aren't there. The issue is that most men don't know how to read them, so they overlook them entirely. They hug awkwardly, pull away too quickly, or hesitate because they're unsure what the moment represents. Without realizing it, they send the wrong message in return. They come across as nervous, uncertain, or even disinterested, despite feeling the opposite. And that's where things begin to fall apart. Attraction isn't just about what she expresses, it's also shaped by how you respond. When your reaction doesn't align with the moment, you disrupt the connection without even noticing. In this video, we're going to break down four distinct types of hugs women give and explain what each one actually means. Not just the obvious surface level interpretation, but what's really happening beneath it. You'll learn how to distinguish between a casual, friendly hug and one that signals something deeper. More importantly, you'll understand how to respond in a way that keeps everything natural instead of awkward. Because once you grasp this, you stop guessing, you stop overanalyzing, you begin to notice things most men completely miss. And after this, you won't see a hug the same way again. Before we get into the different types, it's important to understand why this even matters. On the surface, a hug seems simple. But in reality, it's one of the most honest forms of communication between two people. The reason is straightforward. People can control what they say, but controlling body language is much harder. Words can be filtered, adjusted, or even completely changed depending on the situation. Physical reactions, especially in close proximity like a hug, are far more difficult to fake. That's why a hug often reveals more than conversation ever could. The duration, the positioning of her arms, how close she allows her body to get, whether she pulls away immediately or lingers. Each of these details communicates genuine emotion. These are not random behaviors. They are natural responses driven by how she actually feels in that moment. Research in human behavior consistently shows that nonverbal communication carries a significant portion of emotional expression, particularly in close interactions. So while you might be focusing on her words, her body is already giving you a clearer, more honest answer. This is where most men go wrong. They focus on verbal cues. They wait for something obvious, something direct that confirms interest. But attraction rarely appears in such a clear-cut way. It shows itself through small, natural physical details, moments that happen when someone feels comfortable, connected, or intrigued. A hug is one of those moments because it removes distance. It places both of you in the same space without the buffer of conversation or distraction. In that instant, her body reacts based on what she feels, not what she chooses to say. That's why learning to read hugs gives you a real advantage. You're no longer guessing, you're observing something authentic. And once you know what to look for, you'll begin to notice patterns most men overlook. Because a hug is never just a hug, it's a signal. The only question is whether you know how to interpret it. Now that you understand why this matters, let's talk about where most men go wrong. The mistake is simple. They don't know how to respond in the moment. They either rush, hesitate, or overthink it entirely. Some approach a hug with uncertainty. Their body feels stiff, their movements are natural, and they pull away too quickly because they're unsure how long to stay. Others go in the opposite direction. They hold on too long without reading the situation, turning what should feel natural into something uncomfortable. Both reactions stem from the same issue: lack of awareness. When you don't understand what the moment means, you can't match it. And when your response doesn't align with her energy, the interaction feels slightly off. Most men don't notice this, but women do, because for her, a hug isn't just a greeting, it's a moment of connection. And in that moment, she's paying attention. Are you relaxed? Are you comfortable? Do you match her energy or disrupt it? Your response answers those questions instantly. Pull away too quickly, and it can signal nervousness or insecurity. Hesitate, and it creates awkwardness. Overdo it without reading her cues, and it feels forced. None of these reactions build attraction, they interrupt it. Another common mistake is ignoring context. Many men assume every hug means the same thing, when in reality, each type carries a different message. Without understanding that, they either dismiss the signal or misinterpret it entirely. That's why this matters. Once you understand what each type of hug represents, your response becomes natural. You don't have to guess or overthink. You simply align with the moment. And when you do that, everything feels smoother, more effortless, more connected. So let's break down the first type of hug you'll encounter and what it really means. The first type is the most common and often the most misunderstood. It's the friendly pat hug. This hug usually lasts just a second or two. Her body leans in slightly. There's minimal full body contact, and you might feel a couple of light pats on your back before she pulls away. It feels easy, casual, and polite. Because of that, many men immediately assume she's not interested. But that assumption is incorrect. A friendly pat hug doesn't signal rejection. It simply indicates that at this moment, she sees you as someone safe and comfortable to be around. There's no tension, no pressure, no emotional intensity, and that's not a bad thing. In fact, it's often where attraction begins. Attraction doesn't always start with intensity. More often, it starts with comfort. When a woman feels at ease around you, it creates a foundation that can develop into something deeper over time. The mistake men make here is reacting negatively. They pull away too fast, become distant afterward, or assume there's no potential and stop engaging. That reaction shuts everything down. Instead of building on the comfort that already exists, they eliminate it. You need to understand that this type of hug isn't the conclusion, it's the starting point. It shows she's open to being around you, that she feels relaxed, and that there's room for the interaction to grow. But for that growth to happen, you need to handle it correctly. This isn't the moment to force anything, it's the moment to build. And how you handle it determines whether the interaction stays the same or evolves. Once you recognize a friendly hug, your next step is to move forward naturally. This is where many men go wrong. They either push too hard too quickly or do nothing at all. Both approaches lead nowhere. The right approach is balanced. After a friendly hug, your goal isn't to escalate immediately, it's to strengthen the connection. You already have comfort. Now you add engagement, energy, and a sense of interest. It starts with your presence. Stay relaxed, stay confident. Don't treat the hug like a major event, just let it be part of the flow. When you remain natural, it reinforces that same feeling in her. From there, focus on the interaction. Hold eye contact slightly longer. Keep your tone calm but engaging. Introduce a bit of playfulness, not by trying too hard, but by avoiding being overly serious or predictable. Pay attention when she speaks. Listen fully, respond thoughtfully. These small details build connection over time, and that connection is what allows attraction to develop. Consistency is key. One moment won't change everything, but repeated moments will. When she consistently feels comfortable and engaged around you, the dynamic begins to shift naturally. That's how a friendly hug evolves into something more meaningful, not through force, but through steady, natural progression. And when that progression happens, you'll start to notice the second type of hug. The second type is the firm hug. This is where things begin to shift. Unlike the quick, casual pat hug, this one feels more intentional. It lasts longer, there's more contact, and it feels grounded rather than rushed. You'll notice it immediately. Her arms wrap around you with more presence. She doesn't pull away right away. For a moment, it feels like she's fully there, not just going through the motions. This type of hug usually reflects comfort and familiarity. She enjoys your presence. She feels safe and relaxed around you, and that's significant because comfort is a strong foundation for attraction. When a woman feels at ease, she becomes more open, more natural, and more willing to stay engaged instead of holding back. The mistake many men make here is failing to recognize the shift. They respond the same way they would to a casual hug, pulling away too quickly and breaking the moment. From her perspective, that feels slightly off. She leaned in more and you didn't meet her there. It doesn't erase interest, but it prevents the connection from growing as much as it could. Another key detail is consistency. If this type of hug happens repeatedly across different interactions, it becomes a pattern. She's not just comfortable, she's choosing closeness, and that choice matters. Attraction builds through repeated moments like this. So when you feel that added firmness, when you notice she's not rushing away, recognize that something has shifted, and your response will determine what happens next. When you experience a firm, intentional hug, your response in that moment is crucial. This is where many men lose the opportunity without realizing it. The most common mistake is ending it too quickly. It often comes from habit or uncertainty. The moment feels slightly more intense, so instead of staying in it, they exit early. But the right response is simple. When the hug lasts longer and feels more intentional, allow it to. Stay for just a second longer than usual, naturally without forcing it. That small adjustment makes a big difference. It shows you're comfortable, it shows you're present, and most importantly, it aligns with her energy instead of interrupting it. Afterward, pay attention. Does she smile, maintain eye contact, stay close? These details reveal how she feels. Keep your body language relaxed. Don't suddenly change your behavior as if something significant just happened. Let the interaction continue smoothly with a slightly stronger presence. You're not trying to push things forward. You're simply allowing the moment to feel complete. That's what most men miss. Attraction doesn't grow through dramatic moves. It grows through small, well-timed responses. Handle this correctly, and the interaction naturally progresses to the next stage, where the signals become clearer. That brings us to the lingering hug. This is where the difference isn't just in duration, but in feeling. In a lingering hug, she doesn't rush to let go. Her body stays close, her arms remain around you, and there's a brief pause where neither of you pulls away. That pause matters. In attraction, small pauses often carry meaning. When she lingers, it usually means she's comfortable enough to stay in that closeness without needing distance. Her body relaxes rather than preparing to disengage. That relaxation reflects how she feels around you. You might notice her grip soften, her posture feel more natural, her breathing slow slightly. These subtle cues, when combined, form a clear message. She enjoys the closeness. The mistake many men make here is panicking. The moment lasts longer than expected, so they pull away too soon, interrupting something that was naturally building. From her perspective, that creates a small disconnect. She stayed, you didn't. The key is simple. When the hug lingers, don't rush. Stay relaxed. Let the moment exist without trying to control or end it prematurely. You don't need to escalate or do anything extra. Just be present. That presence communicates confidence, and confidence allows the interaction to move forward naturally. At this point, the signals are no longer subtle. And when this type of hug appears consistently, it often leads to the strongest signal of all. The final type is the intimate embrace. This is the most revealing form of all. It's not quick, not casual, and not neutral. It feels close, connected, and emotionally present. Her body leans fully into yours. There's complete contact. Instead of maintaining distance, she allows closeness naturally. You might notice her head resting on your shoulder or near your neck. Her arms hold you more firmly, and she doesn't rush to pull away. Sometimes her hands move gently along your back, not randomly, but slowly and naturally. This is intentional. This type of hug usually signals strong emotional comfort and often attraction. People don't allow that level of closeness unless they feel safe, connected, and at ease. And when someone chooses to stay there, it means they're not just okay with the closeness, they value it. In this moment, something important is happening that most men overlook. She's observing you, watching how you respond. Do you stay calm or become awkward? Do you rush away or remain present? Do you match her energy or break it? Your response answers everything instantly. If you stay relaxed and allow the moment to unfold naturally, you reinforce the connection. You show that you're comfortable with closeness, and that creates emotional safety. And emotional safety is what allows attraction to deepen. You don't need to complicate it. You don't need to overthink. Just stay present and let the moment happen. At this stage, the signal is clear, and how you handle it determines what comes next. By now, everything should make sense, not just the different types of hugs, but what they truly represent. Because this was never just about hugs. It's about understanding how attraction shows up in small, everyday moments that most men ignore. A hug may seem simple, but it carries real meaning. The way she holds you, how long she stays, how close she gets, these details reflect how she feels. Once you recognize that, your awareness changes everything. But here's where many men still go wrong. They overanalyze. They look for certainty in every single moment instead of recognizing patterns. They ask, did that mean she likes me? Instead of stepping back and observing consistency over time. Attraction doesn't exist in isolated moments, it exists in patterns. One signal might not mean much, but repeated behavior, comfort, closeness, engagement makes things clear. And when it's clear, you don't need to force anything. You don't need to rush or manufacture something that isn't there. Your role is simple: stay present, stay calm, and respond naturally. Because attraction grows in moments that feel effortless, not pressured. When a man remains composed in these situations without rushing, panicking, or overreacting, it creates a different kind of energy. It signals confidence without trying too hard. And that's something women notice immediately. So the next time you hug a woman, don't treat it as something meaningless. Pay attention to how it feels. Notice how she responds. And most importantly, be aware of how you respond. Because in those small moments, everything begins. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think is the biggest sign of attraction during a hug? Is it how long she stays, how close she gets, or something else? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read them and I respond to as many as I can. And if this shifted your perspective on attraction, make sure you subscribe. In the next video, we'll explore something directly connected to this: how to tell if she wants you to make a move without saying a word. And that's where things get even more interesting.